Hello everybody, welcome once again to the SENA TV Web English Show. Today our subject relates to a business that characterizes itself for its creativity. We will show you many different things that are made out of raw materials and that are transformed into beautiful finished goods. Things that we use every single day and sometimes we don't even think how they are made. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world of manufacturing. Hi everyone, welcome to our English tip for today. This lesson is part of the National Learning Service SENA bilingual programs and it is made just for you. Today you'll learn some of the activities and works related to manufacturing. Manufacturing is the use of machines, tools and labor to produce goods for use or sale. The term may refer to a wide range of activities, from handicraft to high-tech, but it is most commonly applied to industrial production, in which raw materials are transformed into finished goods on a large scale. For example, artesanías se dice handicraft. Cuando nos referimos a algo de alta tecnología, deben decir high-tech. Producción industrial es industrial production. Materia prima se dice raw material. Finished goods son productos terminados. Carpintería se dice carpentry. Cortar y tallar una gema es to cut and carve a gem. Producción de joyas es jewelry production. Marroquinería, cuando se refiere a artículos de cuero, se dice leather goods. Si hablamos de una tienda de marroquinería, es leather goods shop. O si es un taller de marroquinería, es un leather workshop. Diseño de calzado se dice footwear design. Fabricación es fabrication. Industria textil es textile industry. Stay tuned to TV Web SENA so you can continue to learn more English with us. Bye everyone. Thank you, Philip. Don't you want to work in the manufacturing industry? I have a job for you and I'm sure you will love it. When you go to a leather goods store and you see handbags, wallets, briefcases, or shoes, among many other things, have you ever wondered why they are usually a little bit more expensive than any other good? Or have you ever thought how these articles were made? Today you will meet Maria Fernanda Hernandez, the daughter of Mario Hernandez, a well-known businessman within the leather industry in our country. Maria Fernanda, the Vice President for Product Marketing and Brand of Mario Hernandez, along with Vanessa Alvarez, the women's collection designer, will tell you how one of the biggest leather goods production company in Colombia works. So get ready to see how every single piece is made by the hands of almost 300 artisans.
So as part of my job, I am the head of the designers of all the product categories for Mario Hernandez, and it is my job to approve and all of the designs and all the product range planning that is made. Mario Hernandez is here and he's here every day and he has the final say and the veto power. I'm in charge of everything that has to be with product design, development, store design, the sourcing, the logistics and all the marketing sides and communications and PR. I'm responsible for the quality, although I don't personally inspect every item. There's people that do that in the production line, but I am responsible for it. Having the same quality throughout the production chain is very difficult because they're made by people and people make mistakes and people have different criteria and people forget things or remember things or one person knows more than the other. So to counterbalance that, we really do a lot of training and we define standards and we try to make examples of things that are well made, and it's really handmade products. So our tools are very simple, you know, it's a hammer, a knife, a piece of bone, a needle and a thread. It's really not that sophisticated in terms of technology. So I say we have a lot of soft technology because we really depend on the hands of our people. So they basically spend all day gluing, painting, sewing and making beautiful items. So that's a bit of a challenge, standardizing the procedures and making sure that when you have, like we do, 300 people, that they all do the things the same way.
When we start designing a collection, the trial and error is very high. We start with an idea, a design in paper, but then like to produce it and to turn it into reality is like a large process. Sometimes the design on paper works, but then on a real bag, it doesn't work. So it's a process that it might take more than 1 month.
What we're trying to do here is industrialize it. So we've organized it in production cells, we call them. That is, within the factory we have small workshops, and each one of them works independent and do the product from the beginning to end. It's the only way we've found to maintain that quality of the handmade and yet having some kind of standardization. So in reality, it's like we have 15 small factories inside our production floor.
We start first by investigating and trying the shapes or the construction we want for the bag, and then we start developing the colors, the materials if we want a soft bag or a more hard bag. And this way, then we develop the leather. With the leather and the tone of the leather, the production knows what kind of yellow or what kind of blue are we going to use for this collection. For a bag like this, it would take more than 300 minutes to create, from the start to the finished product.
We're working in an industry where the raw material is key, so it really defines the product. So a different leather will produce a different product. So it depends whether you want a soft women's handbag or a men's briefcase. It's a completely different kind of leather that you'll need. So for our leather goods, we use only the best materials. We pride ourselves in having the best materials you can find. We source leathers like in 8 or 10 different countries right now. So for example, our butterfly leather that is so famous, it's our signature leather, and we source it from a tannery in Italy. And for example, that tannery sells to international brands like Louis Vuitton or Fendi. Right now, we're exporting, we're selling Colombia, we export to Venezuela, Aruba, Panama, Mexico, Costa Rica. This is a business that generates a very emotional link to what you do. So it takes really a talent, a national talent, and attention to detail that is not always easy to find. So if you're willing to put in that extra love and that attention to detail, you'll probably do a good job. Otherwise, it's going to be hard.
You can see the love in the bag. It shows the details, and the time put into each bag reflects in the product when you see it in a store.
We will be right back after this short break with more information about the manufacturing industry. This is SENA TV Web in English. Don't move.
Do you know what a craftsman does? A craftsman is a person that usually works with his or her hands. It also refers to someone who is highly skilled in a craft, like an artisan or an artist. Craftsman significa artesano. For example, Anderson makes really beautiful jewelry. He's a true craftsman.
Do you remember your favorite toy when you were a child? Do you recall how happy it made you? Luis Lamprea, a consultant for a toys factory, knows a little too well about the joy a toy can bring. The company he works for has been for over 70 years creating wooden toys. Trucks, airplanes, cradles, and the symbolic rocking horse are just a few examples of the products they can make. Today, he will explain to us the process to make these wooden toys, the materials they use, the tools they need, but above all, the satisfaction of bringing a smile to both children and adults.
Juguetes Dame started with Mr. Dame's father. His name was Willie, and he started working in the Polo Club in Bogota. And one of his main hobbies was to build toys or many different things of wood. So it was like a hobby for many years until in 1941. That's when the factory actually started. We used 3 major product lines. For the boys, we make a lot of vehicles for like airplanes or trucks. For girls, we have puppet houses, puppet theaters, doll cradles, and all the things related to the girls' symbolic game. And our third major target is the institutional consumer. For example, kindergartens, schools, They need a lot of furniture, for example, tables, chairs, even a didactic material for the children. Our main product, it is also on the logo of the company, is the rocking horse. The rocking horse is like the symbol from our factory. It is the most sold product, and it has been produced without change in the last 50 years. Our raw materials are mainly lumber, so wood from different origins. The type of wood we use are mainly cedar, pine, and plywood. We use paints, we use like all woodworking, glue and nails. We try to use only high quality materials for the paint, because the paint will be the outer finish from the toy. So we try to use automotive lacquers, which are very high quality paints, which are intended to last for many years. The process to make a wooden toy, it starts by choosing the right materials. For the lumber, you have to make sure you have the right degree of moisture. If the wood is too green or too wet, it will bend and it will damage the toy. And if it's too dry, it may break. You start from the board and you cut it, mainly using the circular saw, in smaller pieces to be worked. After that, you start making the shapes. If it's the case for a rounded, for example, for a horse head, you use the band saw, which allows you to make round curves. All the cotton pieces have to be sanded to make it smooth, to make an even appearance. And after that, they are glued together or they are nailed. Sometimes we use screws for many special uses. All the toys are finished with a layer of painting. It may be color paint or even transparent paint. But it is very important to have it painted, because it will improve the life and the resistance of the wood. The main skill you need to make wooden objects or wooden toys is to have the knowledge of the material. You have to know what kind of wood you have to use and how to use it. It is very important to design specifically thinking about wood, because the wood has its own very own characteristics. If you try to translate designs from metal or from plastic to wood, it's not going to work. Our biggest satisfaction is to make children happy. And we know it, and we see it every day when the people come here and the children receive the toy and they are happy.
Have you ever imagined what type of things you can make by combining natural materials with creativity? Pay attention to our following segment. It will give you the answer.
The company began because I was looking to get into a new business in the market. Even when I was younger, I always wanted to have a business of my own. I started doing some research into what type of business I could get into. Out of the gate, we set out with the Taguanat. We began buying and selling finished products. When we saw that orders began to arrive and our providers couldn't keep up with our clients' expectations, we decided to go ahead and start manufacturing ourselves. The process of acquiring knowledge has taken us 6 years. It has been a process of trial and error. However, after all these years, we finally have the entire process industrialized. The Taguanat is known worldwide as the vegetable ivory. Years ago, the ivory from animals was commercialized. Later, due to agreements among nations, the commerce and exploitation of ivory from animals was prohibited. People started doing studies and they began manufacturing products using the vegetable ivory, which is the tagua seed. After you put the tagua nut through an industrial process, you can have the same ivory you get from animals. We basically sell raw materials so other businesses can assemble their own products. We also sell products for decoration and all types of jewelry. I'm talking about rings, necklaces, bracelets, and earrings. Our most popular product is the ring. It's the product we can commercialize most easily. We manufacture 200,000 rings per year and we sell them all. Basically, for the industrial process, we require specific machinery, and each process involves different materials. Basically, we use sanders, from the most aggressive ones to the softer ones to get to the final product. We use industrial abrasives for the polishing processes too. And also we use dyes that are imported. In the assembly process, we use laces, leathers, and all kinds of clasps made of nickel or silver. The process to manufacture a product, in this case the necklace, is basically you take the tagua nut and you put it through a cutting process in industrial machines, specifically industrial bandsaws. Then you put it in a sanding process, which means to remove everything that has to do with the shell. After that, a washing and polishing process follows, using industrial polishers. The process of polishing the nut takes approximately 24 hours. After this time, we start the dyeing process, and after that, we do a drying process that takes approximately 12 hours. Finally, we close the nut. Then we perforate it, and at the end, we assemble the piece. When the product is finished, we do quality control. Right after this, we pack our merchandise and we add barcodes when needed. At this point, our products are ready to ship. The biggest satisfaction this job has given me is the independence, the harmony and the joy of creating jobs and opening new markets. It's the gratification of being in the market and being recognized among peers for your work.
We'll be right back after this short break, and be prepared because you're going to learn about diamonds here at the SENA TV Web English Show. Stay tuned.
Do you know what goods are? Goods are objects produced for sale or articles for trade. Another word for goods is merchandise. Goods significa mercancía. For example, Mark always buys his sheets in a store on Madison Avenue because they are known for selling top-quality linen goods.
All of you have seen them, but few of you know how to analyze and distinguish their value. I'm talking about gems. Today we will show you a laboratory where they have machines to analyze, measure, and weigh precious diamonds. Pay attention to these luxurious pieces that are carved and cut by men.
This laboratory was founded by Fede Esmeraldas to support all the industry of emeralds, because here we can help them to see if the stones are natural or synthetic, or to make it easy to sell for them. With the report we made, it's easier for them to make business. This laboratory is the most modern and complete of all Latin America. What you see here are the stones that arrived today to identify. We use the the refractive index with the refractometer. Then we use the microscope to see the interior of the stone, to see what kind of inclusions the stone has, to find out if it is natural or synthetic, what kind of a stone it is, and then maybe the origin of the stone. If it's very difficult or maybe they don't have inclusions at all, then we have to go again to the ultraviolet spectroscopy, where we can find out if it's natural or synthetic. Synthetics depends of the stone. Sometimes in ruby or sapphire you can find some bubbles. That will mean this is synthetic. If you see inclusions that are characteristic from natural, we can tell right away that it's natural. The best emeralds of the world are from Colombia, because the color, because the clarity, because the life of the stone is unique. After they have been mined, they come over to Bogota to cut the stones. The most famous emerald cutters of the world are here in Bogota for emeralds. And so it's very important to have a very good cutter, because from him it depends how nice the stone is going to be. It is really difficult to cut an emerald, mainly, or any stone, because the cutter has to have a lot of experience to cut it well. The cutter needs to cut the stone many tools. First, he needs the saw to cut it in 2 pieces or 3 pieces. Then he's going to need a different type of disc. Each disc have a different hardness to cut it, depends. First to pre-shape the stone, then to make the facets, and then to polish the stone until it gets a beautiful or gorgeous stone. If the cutter cuts the stone wrongly, maybe the owner of the stone will lose a lot of money. Maybe he will lose weight, or maybe the color won't be nice, or maybe there will be too many impurities inside of the stones that will make the stone ugly. In the case of cutting emeralds, it's very difficult for a machine or a computer to cut it alone, because it's the stone when it's in rough, it has so many issues inside. The color is maybe in one side, the inclusion is maybe in the middle of the stone, something that no machine can tell.
Well, my friends, we have reached the end of our show, and we hope you have enjoyed and learned new things about manufacturing, so you can begin creating and doing things with your hands. Remember, this is SENA TV Web in English. See you soon and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Acabas de ver Bilingüismo Inglés, capítulo 10.